Thanks for showing up. This is our final of 4 of the Access to Mastercam 2022. Throughout the month, I took you through 2-axis, 3-axis. Now today we're going to discover multi-axis. Again, my name's Rob Dusenberry, Technical Applications Manager here at CAD-CAM Consulting. And again, keeping with the theme of this webinar is workflow enhancements and getting you to start making chips a lot faster. You'll start seeing some of the streamlined things that we've put in enhancements in the multi-axis world. I'm really proud of this one. I think this is probably one of the best things we've introduced in a long time, is this new unified toolpath, a multi-axis unified toolpath. What we did here is we basically, you still have your old toolpath. You still have morph, parallel, long curve, project, flowline. All of those still exist. But with this toolpath, what we did was we combined them all into one single interface. The advantage to this is I can add or remove patterns. I can switch from parallel to a chain pattern, to morph between surfaces, morph between curves, do a parallel, do a waterline, all without having to start over. And that is, when I go through this, you're going to see, which is a huge enhancement. With the new style, you'll see that in this interface, I get a lot of different options, and it'll switch between options, and it's smart enough to know what I've selected so far, and how to combat that with my toolpaths. So let me just bounce out of that. Let me go into Mastercam here, and I'll kind of walk you around this new interface, or this new toolpath interface. Like I said, you still have all the control of your other toolpaths, but we now have this unified toolpath. Okay. I'm just going to bounce to the cut pattern, and what I'm going to do today is really concentrate on the power of this toolpath, but I'm going to do that through cut pattern. I bumped up my settings just to kind of make things go a little faster while we're doing this webinar, so you can see more things, and it won't take us as long. But here's the new interface. Let's kind of travel through it. Machining geometries. I can basically just go and pick the geometry I want to machine and say I'm going to work on that. One of the huge enhancements is, as I'm in my dialog box, obviously I could move this around. But what we also introduced is the preview toolpath in all the multi-axis toolpaths. So, so this is where I can try out different paths. A lot of times I don't even know which way I'm going to go. And the advantage to this toolpath is I don't have to go in, set a bunch of settings, maybe try morph, and then sit there and have it generate the toolpath, and then it goes all over the screen and go, okay, I didn't want that. Maybe I'll try parallel. Maybe I'll try a parallel with waterline. Maybe I'll try something else, and it's just on and on and on. Well, with this, I can just, as you see, I just picked those 3 surfaces. I can, just by picking the surfaces, I can start getting a pattern. Okay, well, I'm not a big fan of that, but I did just get something in pretty quickly. So let's play around with this. We have these automatic settings. With the automatic, I have some pull downs here. And as I start adding more, and you'll see as I go through this, I'll add more features. it allows me to do certain things with the toolpath. So, machining the boundary parallel. Well, maybe that sounds interesting. I'm getting, okay, a little closer. Obviously, this is like a scallop toolpath, something I probably wouldn't want here on this wall, but absolutely I would want it maybe down here. Let's see, maybe a morph. And again, it's going to pop up here. I can see, okay, well, there's a morph. Again, not ideal for here, but obviously somewhere else this might work. As a matter of fact, let's try that. I'm going to kill these surfaces, try it on this guy. And say, okay, well, you know what, that's not a bad toolpath. That's going to work here. This parallel would probably work ideally right in here. As you can see, I can just get this quick preview, if you will, of these toolpaths. Again, other options in here with the automatic. Based on the geometries that I pick, it will automatically try to figure out the best approach. Well, I can always kill these and come back, take out this, and let's concentrate again back on these walls here. Okay. Now, just saw the automatic, and again, if I just look at my preview, again, that's not a desirable toolpath, but I have. So let's add something to it. Let's add some curves. Okay, and with the curves, as I pull down here, I get a guide curve, I get a parallel curve, perpendicular, which would be like a long curve toolpath. Now let's go parallel. Let's say I want this parallel to, I'm thinking parallel to this guy here. That might give me what I want. Oh, not bad. A little cleaner, getting closer. I may not, it's parallel to this, so I'm getting parallel slices here. I may want to do something else. Maybe I may want to add another curve. So if this is the guide curve, we can add another curve. Well, now that I add another curve here, look what happens now. Now it changes. I had one guide curve, I can do a few other things. When I have multiple guide curves, now it kind of restricts it. It says, okay, well, we can follow a guide. We can follow a morph. We can project. If I add more curves to this, it starts to loosen this up. It says, okay, well, all you can do now is either guide between all of those curves, like I have here on this image over here, or I can project a bunch of curves. Now let's kind of kill these. Again, I have this one here, okay, and I tried parallel. All right, so there's parallel. Again, if I added more curves, I could morph between curves. And you know what? We've got some time. Let's do that. Let's add another guide curve, and we'll tell it. Let's start here. Let's kill that curve. We'll start a new one, and we'll start it up here, and we'll have it go. Oops. Along here and down to there. And we'll pick this guide curve, and we'll go from here to there. Okay. and we'll morph it. And not bad. Now I'm morphing. Now I don't have all of this going on here, and I like that. It's actually morphing down to this. However, it's also, let me get this at a good angle. It's kind of morphing here. So ideally, I'd want to morph from these surfaces down to this one. So let's blow all of that out. We still have our surfaces selected. So now I'm going to go in here and I'll select a surface. And again, I'll select another surface. Just like the guide curves, if I pick more than one, I get morph. If I pick just one, I have these options. Okay. So we're going to add another guide surface. And let's go into this guide surface. So in this time, instead of picking the curves, I'm going to pick the faces of my surfaces here. So I'll use this and this to guide from, and I'll use this floor to guide to. And then let's preview that toolpath. A lot cleaner. Look at that. I mean, that's the one I wanted right in there. Oh, look at this too. I can see that I'm morphing. So what's going on here? Well, let's add. Let me back up. Let's go back up to this one and add that guy in the mix. And let's get a preview. And now I'm morphing from that surface and this surface and this surface down to the floor. Again, just that quick, I can start sorting out my part. And now I know this is going to give me the best pattern. So I know what I need to do for these other three walls. I've got that tackled. So I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill this, and I'm going to kill all these, and I'm going to concentrate just on this guy here. So again, we'll add another surface. We use a guide surface, and I'm going to select the surface I want to machine. Actually, let me kill this, because if I just pick the surface I want to machine and see, okay, well, what did you figure out there? Okay, well, I kind of figured out a parallel toolpath for you. Yeah, you know, I'm not happy with that. So let's go in here. Let's see what the guide surface does. Nothing. I don't have another guide surface, so let's look at Flowline. Something new. We have always had Flowline in Mastercam, as you guys are aware. We've never had Flowline in the Module Works side of things. So let's hit Flowline. Again, along the U, and let's look at it along the V. Much better. Again, I've got that cut tolerance set to 100 gram, but you get the point there. That's going to tackle that. So we've already figured out morph between surfaces will take care of this. And Flowline will take care of that. So let's blow those out. Let's concentrate on, you know what? Let's concentrate on this guy. I want to cut the inside of that. Let's preview it. Okay. Again, I get a motion, not very desirable, but maybe maybe a waterline style toolpath would just take care of that. So again, just bouncing over here to the next button here, and I have my planes, and I have my planes W, C, S, and Z, or X and Y. So that's going to take care of parallel waterline style toolpath or parallel raster style in the X and Y, or any other plane that I decide to choose from. Well, I think I want a waterline. And again, that sorts out the water line. Okay. Not only that, you know, maybe I want to spiral it. We'll see how that works. Okay. Spiral is going to probably be the ticket on that. So now I've sorted out morph between surfaces here, flow line here, water line here. I use the parallel down here, automatic parallel in that case. So let's just knock out one other thing on this part. Maybe these walls. I think I like that water line. I'm going to kill my surfaces and let's apply them here. Okay, that'll work. And a nice water line down those walls. So without ever leaving the interface, without ever bumping out of this and writing the toolpath and having to have it blow up on the screen and then come back and fix a lot of stuff, I never left the interface. I tried out every toolpath in my arsenal here to knock out morph between surfaces, water line, flow line. You know, every bit of that will take care of this part. Now I can start going in and writing these toolpaths. I know what I need to do. Morph here, water line here, flow here, water line here. I know my strategy. Again, generate toolpath automatically. If I'm happy with everything I've just done, we'll write the toolpath. Okay. All right. Let's move into another file. Let's cut the ever dreaded impeller. How do I handle my impellers? Well, let's start with the floor. If I get a tool down to the floor, I usually start there. And I'm going to go in here with my unified. And we'll go into my cut pattern. I'm going to select this floor. And again, I just want to see what's happening. So I'm going to hit my little magnifying glass there, inspect my toolpath. You know, I have something. It's not perfect, but I definitely have something I can start working with. So I'm thinking probably the best method for this would be to morph between these curves. We did morph between surfaces with this panel. Let's add a couple of guide curves. We'll tell it to morph. And that gives me three options, and I'll go through those with you on this one. But on this first one, I want to morph from this curve. Let's bump it up to about there. And we're going to go with this curve. And let's bump it up to there. And let's take a look at it. Nice, clean morph toolpath. You know, I can look at it a couple of ways. Let's see what guide would have done. Just about the same. It's going to guide from this curve to this curve. But if I added another guide curve, maybe I have something in here that I need to go around or guide it around. And that would be another chain. I can have as many guide curves as I want. You know, what if I decided, you know what, maybe I just want to project that. Well, now I'm projecting those curves. I know this is a 1/4 inch radius. I've got a 1/2 inch tool. I'm sorry, it's an 1/8 inch radius. I got a 1/4 inch ball tool. I just now wrote a really quick pencil toolpath that I can walk around this. That quick, I can bounce between any of these and just take a look at it. Right? Again, you have all of your control with the multi-axis stuff. So when I start laying out these and I want to do more, you know, I still have my utilities where I can rotate or transform and rotate. Each one of those can be taken care of. All righty, let's play around with this one some more. Let's say I want to work the blade. I'm just going to kill everything here. So let's talk about the blade, and I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use, again, probably morph between surfaces, and I want to cut on this blade. And I want to guide from, let's say that face, and we'll guide down to this face and this face. And let's throw this on there just in case my tools definitely may walk on that, so I'm going to throw that in there as well. And I got something out there. That's the guide. Let's morph it. There we go. I think I hit the, I somehow grabbed some of these other ones out there, but there you go. I have my morph. And again, that's a nice clean path. So I can morph between curves here, morph between my surfaces here. Again, never leaving this interface. All right, let's look at another file here. All right. So this one, I may want to set up on a 4th axis, rotating over here. I've got this fin that I want to take care of. And let's use the unified. And we'll use the 3/8 ball here. And let's select all color red. All right, again, let's see what we have. And it's trying to sort out this path the best way I can do it, but you know, obviously I need to start thinking about a better way. Now, let's break that down. I may want to morph from here to here, but there's really nothing to pick here. And that curve wouldn't really make much sense to morph between this curve to this. But we still have a long curve, which I have this curve here and that I may want to guide along. So let's use that. I'm going to use this curve. Oops, switch it over to this. Let's get a preview on the guide. And the guide curve is basically following, Toolpath is following that curve. Not desirable because it didn't get the other side. So let's go with perpendicular, just like you would with a long curve. And there we go. Nice clean path along the curve, maybe a spiral, take care of that. But as you can see, I didn't really have anything to start with here. I had something I could end with a morph, but this a long curve, especially on a 4-axis here, would definitely do a good job on it. Okay? So let's kill this curve. And let's say maybe now I got to project. I want to project, let's get a smaller tool. I want to project this logo onto those surfaces. So again, I'll set back to project, and I'll chain this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And we'll hit that. Oop. So now for the grand finale here, my favorite feature that I kind of stumbled across. I'm going to open up another file here and have this cover that I'm going to cut. And I want to cut on the inside of this, the blue surfaces in here. And, you know, obviously we've got these holes in here. Again, going to throw my unified at it. Go into the cut pattern. And we'll select color blue. And it. Let's get this into play. And let's just hit the toolpath here. So not a bad toolpath. It's a raster. It's kind of sorted out the raster here for me. Not a big fan of that, especially over in here. It's going to break down, but in here, that's nice. But I want a little bit more. So I'm going to add I'm going to add a guide curve, and I'm going to tell it that I want to guide along that curve. And I may want to go parallel. We haven't done parallel yet. Much better. But again, if I were to maybe show show the retract moves, I have a big gap here, and you guys know your gap settings. If I were to go into my linking, I've got a gap here, and it says, okay, if there's a gap larger than this, go to my clearance height, so I'm going to bounce all over that. So ideally, I need the tool to stay down. And what would you normally do? You would prep the model before that and maybe create some surfaces to try to fill that in. Or let's go back here and let's look at guide again. Let's just look at that toolpath and see if it gives me anything different. So it looks like guide's giving me the same path. Now the reason I just switched over to guide is guide gives me this machining geometries, which has this way awesome switch here called fill holes. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to see those holes, link them together, basically create that mesh or surface in the background and drive the tool on it. And there you go. Actually, this one, let's give it some tool axis control. Let's, so Z, we'll give it, say 80 degrees. And we'll write that toolpath. And we'll backplot and take a look at it. Now, while it's thinking here, I could start trying to fill in the holes if I were going to create some surfaces. There's a lot I could do there, but let's see how well this toolpath matched up to if I did lay down a surface. Actually, let's make that 10 degrees. We get it back. So what I was saying there is you're going to try and, maybe before you went in, you decided, I'm going to create a surface and I'm going to fill in these holes here. And you're going to get this. It's going to say I can't fill because, well, you can see why. It intersects a bunch of other surfaces. Let's see if I got my tilts right this time. Yep, that's better. Okay, so what do I have to do? Let's kind of hide the toolpath for right now. Obviously, I would need to come in here, now I got to create some wireframe. And hold down my shift key, see how far I can get. Now it's not getting much, so I'm just going to grab each one of these. You know, hopefully I got everything. And then I would go into power surface. It's a good thing we have this, but let's do a power surface and fill that in. And let's lay the toolpath on top of it. And you can see that it's following that fill hole switch inside the unified toolpath, and it's following that surface. And even if it didn't follow it completely, it's, you know, because I'm going to cut that out later, my tool's staying down the whole time while I cut that part and retract out, maybe spiral, what have you. But that's one less thing I have to do before to cut this part. So again, it's just this whole theme of this is getting you guys to cut chips so much faster by not spending as much time in your toolpath settings. Again, look how much I can do here with just this one interface, and sort out every different toolpath that I may want to think of. I can handle it here. It's not a guessing game anymore. It's not like, okay, let's try, you know, let's try morph, you know, let's try parallel, or let's try a long curve. You know what you're going to get with Flowline, and you're kind of like, when is this going to work? Well, I can lay it down. If I don't like one, I can move on to the other. And once I start understanding and wrapping my head around the fact that what a guide curve is, what a guide surface is, those kind of things, then you know, it's open to you. I mean, as more curves you add, you know, you could throw those in, those chains, and it will respect every one of those. So like I said, I was really excited to show this toolpath. Mastercam has come a long ways. 2022 is probably one of my favorite releases in a long time, only because of the speed of it. The calculation times are so much less. You know, they increased the speed of this tremendously. I don't know what they did, but I'm really liking this. A lot of these features that are coming in 2022. So with that said, just kind of a summary of what we covered in this all-access Mastercam 2022. The first week we did 2D enhancements. I showed you the automatic stuff, showed you some of the dynamic options where we can leave stock on walls, those kind of things, and then I took you into the hole making enhancements. I also showed you that OptiRough, it will be a toolpath that will be offered to you guys that just only have mill. 3D enhancements, last week we went through that, and we really broke down Waterline. It's a huge enhancements on Waterline. There was so many more that I could have chosen from, but these were my favorites. And of course, the new multi-axis toolpath. So again, I want to thank you guys for showing up, taking your time out of your day. I know you guys are busy. And for all of you guys that followed all 4 of my webinars, God bless you. Thank you. With that,